Hey Johnny, let's check these out, buddy. The first one here, 1.71. What we have to do with these is figure out the unit rate, right? So it wants to know how much did she pay per share? How much did he pay per share? Okay, and then basically part C here, you just subtract them. So 320 shares for 12,899. Okay, so how we're going to set this up, we're going to think about this like dollars per share. Okay, that's basically what they want. So if we think about this, we got 320 shares, so I'm going to keep that on the bottom. Okay, for some amount of money, 12,899, whatever, right? Blah, blah, blah. What we want to know is how much dollars is that for one share? Okay, so it's important that when you set up a proportion, again, this is two rates or ratios equal to one another, therefore it is a proportion. We want to keep the dollars and the dollars consistent. All your units on the top. So dollars are on the top, shares are on the bottom. Okay, and then basically after that we're just going to cross multiply and divide. And you can think of it even a shorter way. Basically cross multiply the two cross products that don't have the variable in it, right? So here I'm going to do like, 12k times 1, and then basically just divide it by the other term in the cross product with the variable, that the variable, don't include the variable, I guess, in that. So to figure this out, mathematically, technically, I'm going to write an equal sign. I'm going to have 320 times x, right? Because I'm going to cross multiply. Cross multiply here, we get 12k. I don't know the exact answer, but you can figure that out. And then basically, just divide both sides by 320, okay? You'll get x by itself, and that is how much dollars for one share. All right, so that's the play with that one. Now, if you basically rinse and repeat the same thing here, so this one is going to be, 11,484 over 220. It's going to equal x over 1. And then basically you just subtract them for part C. Hope that helps you on that one. Next one, find the value of n. Now this is the same play. Okay, we got 1.5 times 32. So we're going to do that calculation, 1.5 times 32. And then you're basically just going to divide it by 28. And your number, like, it might be okay, but basically they want a whole number or a simplified fraction. So when you were asking me that, it was you're giving me decimals. Try to keep it with the fractions. Okay, so we got 1.5 times 32. We can do that out. Delete. Right, because remember we got 1.5 times 32. We can convert this. This is going to be like, 3 halves times 32 over 1. And that's pretty much how you do it. I can reduce on the diagonal, right? 32 divided by 2 is 16. That goes away. That's 1. That's 16. 3 times 16. That's going to be your answer right there, buddy. So keep her all in the fractions basically, and then you would divide that by the second part. You would divide that by 28 now to get your final answer. Okay? So 3 times 16, I'll take her all the way for you. 3 6s are 18, carry the 1, we got 48, and then we're going to divide that by 28. So 48 over 28. And if you're spitting out a decimal, you should reduce that to lowest terms as a fraction. So again, you can factor this completely, reduce these however you want. We can do the half rule here. Half of 48, that's going to be 24 over 14. We can do the half rule again. Half of 24 is 12 over 7. Pretty much it right there. Okay, and again, you could put that in a mixed number if you want to get fancy, but that's it. Last one. This one was a customized question that we used. That's why there's no other question help. It's basically an instructor at the community college created this question. That's why it has this weird number here. But basically, again, it's just using a proportion. We have a 2,600 square foot home that's for sale. The furnished basement has an area of 444 square feet. The basement accounts for what percentage of the total square footage? Okay, so let's think about this in terms of a proportion. With proportions, remember we have an amount over a base, and that equals a percent over 100. Okay, so we know just by going back to this question, the total square footage of the house is 2,600, and we know that the amount is 444. So let's set this up as 444. Here's our amount over 2,600, and that's going to equal P over 100. So again, now cross multiply, solve for P, and that's going to be your answer right there. Okay, buddy, hope those help. Let me know if they don't.